gunshot wounds to the left arm is all we have. Absolutely amazing that that's all he sustained. I cannot explain how he escaped that, nothing short of miraculous, and we're thankful for that. As far as your second question, a lot of that will be determined from this investigation. We simply do not know a lot of this. They just got this statement this morning, and so it stands to reason that there's more unknown than known. And as we get it, we will make every attempt to let people know what's going on. The police officer is 33 years old, I believe. Right.
He did have a fairly extensive criminal record. Is that
He's got a criminal record. I mean, the extensive part is relative, I mean, to what we see from day to day.
I thought I had heard from our folks who checking records that he was actually set to be sentenced on a case out of Media Borough Monday of next week. Do you know anything about that?
I do not at this time. We will find out all of it. He obtained it? No, we do not know. We know it was stolen. How many hands it may have passed through in the last couple of years, I have no way of knowing. And he did not talk about it. It absolutely was.
Can you talk about the circumstances surrounding with that?
All I can say is it was a theft, police officer's gun. It was reported as was required, and sometimes things happen, and someone was disciplined for it. I will tell you honestly about that, as is our protocol. From his home.
Commissioner, what about protections for officers in situations like this? Was he wearing a bulletproof vest? The car, any element of protection for an assault like this?
Well, I think, one, he had the grace of God, that's first and foremost. But, because I can't explain it based on my beliefs in any other way. But he had a will to live, as I mentioned before, which is equally big. But he had on his vest. But under those circumstances, man, I can't imagine that almost anything that you could have could protect you. That is chilling, absolutely chilling when you watch that. And if that doesn't just make the hairs on your neck just raise when you see that, it's scary. That's all I can say.
Is there any indication that he had any links to anybody else planning a terrorism plan?
No, we don't have that indication right now. I think he was savvy enough to stop just short of implicating himself in a conspiracy with anything. Even if one exists, we don't know right now. The detectives in question did a remarkable job in even getting that from him. He doesn't appear to be a stupid individual, just an extremely violent one, obviously, by his actions. And we're going to have to wait to see where the investigation takes us.
Do we know anything about his mental history?
No, we don't. Obviously, that was one of the first thoughts that we have. It's only natural to go there when you see someone do something so barbaric that, you know, what's wrong with them. And I never want to lay the foundation for excuses later in court. But you do have thoughts like that, but we have not determined it.
Just so we're very clear about this, because this is what, of course, everybody's talking about. You have no indication at this point that he's part of a larger organization, no real knowledge of whether he was radicalized as a separate individual, but he has specifically simply made the claim that he is doing this on behalf of Islam and the Islamic State. And beyond that, you don't know whether there's a connection of him being individually radicalized or just a guy who in his own mind said, I'm going to do this on behalf of this cause.
We do not. And I think that was part of his savviness, if you will, in stopping just short of implicating anyone else. And I say that, and I caution you to say that I don't know that there is or isn't, but he seemed to know how to navigate around just enough. And so I don't know whether that means it's because he knows not to do that or because he was just lucky. I really don't know. Well, it looked like it to me. I mean, in the manner that he did it, and it seemed he certainly was targeting police. It wasn't just targeting a motorist driving down the street. He knew who he was shooting at, and my God, I mean, the way he's got his arm inside that vehicle, I mean, he knew what he was doing. He was trying to assassinate this police officer.
And what is the condition of the suspect right now?
Well, he's actually been released, so, I mean, obviously he had him in our custody, so I guess he's okay for now. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to only be able to answer your last question. All the rest would be mere speculation on my part. I don't know exactly how he was keying his mic or anything like that. You can clearly see his left arm is immobilized. And at some point, he's courageously firing back. So I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he escaped it, period. With regard to his condition at the time, he had to be very weak because he lost a significant amount of blood at that scene. And we all know what happens when that occurs. So, again, the whole culmination of things and everything involved in this is just, it's both confounding and astonishing. Years on the force. He actually was a lateral from another department, and I just had a discussion with the vice president of the FOP, and everyone says that in addition to the acts of bravery that are demonstrated here, that he was a compassionate police officer, in that even an individual he arrested not long ago for narcotics, he stopped and got food for that individual's son, the very person he arrested.
Could you clarify, did he do this in the name of Islam, or did he pledge allegiance to the Islamic State?
Well, he said a lot of things, and so, I mean, for us, he clearly gave us some motive. And so a lot of the things that we get, we're going to try to connect via evidence we hopefully obtain. Again, he didn't say a lot beyond that. So it wasn't like laying it out completely chapter and verse for us. I mean, we're left to try to say, okay, he's leaving a trail for us. Where is it going to lead us, if anywhere? And so I don't have an absolute for you, but those are the things that he said, things that, you know, I told you about and the captain expounded on is what we're working with.
What do you know about where the suspect was earlier in the night, earlier in the day, how he got to that corner, why he was there?
Very evasive about that. Obviously, the detective asked that question, and again, either smart as a fox or just lucky, he avoided all that. And I think in some regards there was a method to his madness, and whether he knows that or not, but it certainly came off that way. And so I don't know any of those answers, unfortunately.
Searching the residence near the scene, is that owned by him as well?
I don't know who actually owns the house. We just are going to search these residences that we know he has resided or laid his head in different times.
Could you talk about the incidences, like police firearms being stolen and used in like crimes at all? Like, is this something common that happens?
I don't think it's common. I mean, but, you know, police officers are citizens as well, and, you know, sometimes things happen, and it's unfortunate. Again, you know, in this case, man, you know, you're talking about a heavy burden on your conscience, irrespective of whether or not or how culpable you may or may not have been, but it was your firearm, and that's the bottom line. He was able to strike him in some part of his buttocks. Other officers responded and caught him roughly about a block away or so, and that was how that happened. Vern, you have a question?
Did he flag this officer down, the officer paused, or was that or somewhere? It just comes out of nowhere?
He just came out of nowhere and started firing on him. I mean, he just came out of nowhere, started really and literally traversing towards that patrol car. I don't even know when Hartnett first noticed him. But we know that you can see him from across the street. He had already started firing. So there was no attempt, there was no call to in that regard. He just started firing with one aim and one aim only, is to kill him. The car was moving. I don't believe there was anybody else out there at that time. I didn't see anybody in the video, and somebody behind me can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall seeing that. That's how Philly PD actually operates. I mean, we have a myriad of assignments. Some of them are two-person, usually tactical, but in our department, we've historically done that. Obviously, when these things happen, we make adjustments, but, you know, it's just one way we patrol. Well, we changed it last night. Whenever you have an incident like this, you know, all fears are heightened, and rightfully so, and we want to allay the concerns of the men and women who wear this uniform as much as you can with this situation. I mean, because this is a dangerous job, and I think this video, this incident, just captures the essence of that. And anybody that doesn't begin to understand what men and women across this country deal with and are faced with, and that you never know what that next encounter will be.
Will you be releasing the video itself?
I don't think so. It's a little too sensational, and in respect to him and his family, and to be honest with you, there's a sentiment of not giving this person more credence than they deserve, and I'm a little concerned about what some other people may see when they watch this video. I think these pictures capture the essence of what it is. You really are not missing anything. It's just motion. I mean, you really are seeing the incident in its entirety. The only difference is those figures are moving. That's the only difference. So you're not missing anything other than just sensationalizing it, and I don't really think that's necessary at this point.
Is there any additional surveillance today of individuals or organizations that may be associated with any kind of terrorist threat?
I don't know, and obviously, we work in conjunction with the federal authorities, and we're not necessarily the experts on that, and so you'd have to ask some of them about that. And I'm sure, as good as they are, they're going to work very hard to uncover that. If it's something to be uncovered, I have every faith in the FBI and Homeland Security, and that they're going to find out.
One final question.
Right.
Commissioner, because of the way this individual did this, because he didn't circumspect in the questioning, it sounds as though you heavily doubt to some degree his claim that this was had any sort of other nexus to terrorism other than this person saying this. But you're tracking everything down. How do we?
Well, I would qualify that by saying that I just don't know, and I'm just hesitant to jump to conclusions one way or another, and that we have to base it on what we have. And we're going to also see where the investigation leads us, and that's what's important. And so, again, we've indicated we haven't yet to complete the search warrants. We will, and hopefully in conjunction with the FBI's investigation, we will uncover something else, if it's even there. And so we just don't know a lot of those answers at this time. All right?
You're usually wearing Muslim clothing. Is that correct?
I don't know whether that was Muslim clothing or not. Some folks said it may have been, but I don't even want to jump out there on that limb. I mean, we've already established what he believes he did it, and that's probably enough.
All right, folks, we'll email